Hi and welcome everyone, this is the Hobo Prepper. I am Friar Tuck. So I gotta be really quick because I want to keep this video under 15 minutes and there is a lot of content to cover. So last night I was approaching as I told you guys before, you do things, people watch, and then people want to get to know you. And so I have been asked to stay back a couple of days with the promise of a few interviews to be able to help add to survival skills. So there are some people that have been out here for quite some time, at least 10 years or more, that really know how to live out here. And they can give us both some tips because, this is more new to me. I'm more of an urban camper. But what we're going to end up seeing is you're going to see an interview with Bulldog. And he has some interesting things to say, and I asked him a few other questions. And then we got rain coming on Saturday and Sunday, so I've got that also, what kind of preparations we're doing for rain, because honestly, rain is worse than cold, just because it rains more often than it gets cold. Anyways, guys, so stay tuned. And this is a teaser in the sense that I want you guys to understand that most of the stuff, the interviews that I do, especially on some of these survival skills, I'm going to end up keeping that stuff on Patreon because, that's really where I want to build the community, and the people that are serious about it, you guys are going to be, you guys are going to be the ones that are going to be over on Patreon. All it costs is $5 a month. So that's like $60 for a whole year, but and you can cancel it anytime. And, you get access to content that doesn't go up on YouTube for various reasons. But also, it's my way of providing value. If you're paying $5 a month, you should be able to get some exclusive things. And so that's really what I'm going to be working on. You're going to be seeing on YouTube regular videos, but a lot of the private content stuff that is for the community, that is going to be held back behind on Patreon. So if you haven't subscribed to Patreon, come on over. If you go through the community tab, there is links also down in the description. There's a link to Patreon as well, and you can sign up, like I said, $5 a month, and that gets you access to things that aren't going on YouTube and exclusive content, as well as Delta sent me a message yesterday, so you can send messages to me as well, and we can communicate if you need to ask me any questions directly. That's another benefit that you get with Patreon and being a Patreon subscriber. So enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next video. All right, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to someone new that's a friend of the channel. This is Bulldog. Say hi, Bulldog.
What's up, y'all?
Okay, so Bulldog, you were talking about being able to find spots, and you were talking about trees. So go ahead and start that over and go ahead and teach us something.
In Florida, we have a lot of these oak trees like this here. They're very plentiful around Florida. So trees like that, where the tree limbs are relatively close together and a lot of them are relatively level. It's not hard to find one, but you find a tree like that where the limbs are like that. And then you find some of these small, like little tallow trees like this one here. You cut it down, and then you cut the limbs off of it until it's long enough to go all the way across, and you lay a bunch of them across there. Then you take you some pine straw and lay down across the top of it, make you a thick bed of pine straw. And then you take something like your little tent right there and you set it up there on top of it. That way you're up off the ground. A lot of the little ground critters is a lot less likely to get to you. And if it rains, you ain't got to worry about getting flooded out.
Okay. And so how does this, during the summer, what are the benefits of it, and how does it play out in winter, especially a cold winter like this?
In the winter time, especially down here, the winter time, it gets cold, but the biggest thing about the cold here is the cold is wet. So it cuts you to the bone, and being on the ground is the worst place to be when it's that cold. You want to be up off the ground. You want space between you and the ground. And so being up in a spot like that right there, it makes it a lot easier to stay warm. in the summertime, one of the biggest benefits is that being up in a tree like that, it's always shaded. You always got, if you're a nature lover like myself, you always got little squirrels running around you, and you got birds landing all around you. It's a really cool thing, man. It's a lot of fun. Check it out and try it sometime.
Okay, so one more question for you. Now, thinking about urban-wise, because in some parts of this country, you can't really get out into the bush unless you go like 5-10 miles outside of town. Okay, so what is your suggestion to something like that? Like, how would you live in those circumstances?
That's easy. If you want these survival tips and you want to apply these survival tips and live that kind of life, what do you need to be near a suburban area for anyway?
Okay, so you've traveled a lot, right?
Quite a bit, yes.
Okay, so with your travel and everything like that, kind of tell us how you're finding nature campsites to be able to live in without really getting ran up on by the cops all the time, or is this rare that you get to be out like this?
A place like this here is a rarity because of some of the rules and the regulations that they have, for one. For another, because of the location of it. But if you go into an area, if you go into a town or something like that you've never been to, my suggestion would be to just kind of find an area, walk around and find a little area that you think might be a decent little area, and then just kind of kick back and watch it for a couple of days and see who comes and goes as far as people like us, and also see who kind of comes and goes as far as if the cops are coming in and out, if the cops are circling around, if how much traffic's around, and just kind of keep watch and take notice to your surroundings.
Okay, so like have you had to mostly do stealth camping?
Not really. I try to, I camp where I need to and have always had fun doing it and been able to stay for as long as I've needed to stay. And I've never had any type of problem with that. But reason being is because of that right there. Because I try to, number one, be respectful of other people's place and property, other people's comings and goings, but at the same time try to stay far enough out of sight that people don't hardly notice I'm there. Other people, other transients such as myself and also the cops and that. So you find a place where that kind of comings and goings is at a minimum. That's going to be about the best place for you to be, especially if you're only going to be around for a couple days or so.
Are there more homeless in the bushes than in the cities?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so the projected, they say anywhere from 1 to 3 million people are homeless. What's your projection?
I'm going to say by this time, which is shortly after Christmas, by this time of 2023, there's going to be about, I would say, somewhere between 5 and 6 million.
5 and 6 million. Why would you say 5 and 6 million?
For one, because the housing industry, the housing markets, the prices are going up, taxes are going up, and rent is going up, materials to maintain them is going up, materials to build them is going up, and it's just getting to where now that if you're not at least a multi-millionaire, you're not going to be able to survive in a place like it. You're going to end up having to come out here and survive.
Okay.
So any tips that you can take from people like us, it's good to have that kind of information.
Okay. Have you ever lost the stuff that you owned, like property?
I've lost a few things along the way. I've had a few things stolen along the way. But for the most part, I acquire a few things and I hold on to them and I cherish them for a while and then I pass some of those things on to other people so that they have the opportunity to own a little something and have something to value and to cherish and And I tell them, look, when you're done with it, just pay it forward, pay it on to somebody else. But there are a few things that is very personal to me, that was given to me by people that are very close and dear to my heart, that I do keep and will never get rid of. I make extra sure that I keep those few things very safe.
Okay, final question. What is the 3 pieces of advice you would give to somebody who had to come out here for the first time? And like, if you were to give yourself 3 pieces of advice, what would you give yourself the first time you came out?
Number 1, don't come out expecting anything. Always be willing to swallow your pride and ask for help, because there are places and there are people that will help you. You just got to be willing to ask for it. You got to be willing to swallow your pride and ask for it. Number 2, be mindful of where you're at and where you're going and what you're doing. Be mindful of those around you, not only the people, but your surroundings itself. And number 3, most importantly, always be respectful of other people and their property. Yeah, some of them are dealing with mental issues. Some of them are dealing with emotional issues. I deal with both. But most of the people that know me will tell you, for the most part, that I'm a nice guy. I try to help everybody out. And so, I mean, not all of us are bad people. We're all in this together, so we all try to help each other out. Just don't try to force your way into a group of people. Let them be the one to come to you, and let them be the one to accept you. Okay. And be willing to be accepted at the same time.
That's a good advice. Okay, well, this is the Hobo Prepper. I am Friar Tuck, and this is Bulldog. Say bye, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.
So when you know that rain is coming, so we know that rain is coming on Saturday and Sunday. Yes. It's now Thursday. What preparations are you doing to get ready for the rain so that you can stay dry and warm?
Bagging up the clothes.
Okay, what else?
And getting firewood.
Huh? Firewood?
Yeah.
What else? I mean, there is more preparation. What about your tent? What are you doing to your tent?
Oh, I'm getting it ready for it. Then I have another.
How is that?
I got a tarp over it and a canopy, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, so you got a tarp, and so can I show your tent a little bit? Not the inside, I want to show the outside.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so just to kind of show you what he has the basic layer right here. Okay, this is the mesh, this is the screen door. Then he's got this canopy. And then if you look underneath, he's also got a tarp, and he's also got this. Now, if you notice, all this stuff is thin, and it's not meant to be water resistant. And the other part that actually makes this tent a little bit more susceptible to leaks and stuff. So you see how it angles out at like maybe a 45-degree angle. See that when the rain drops, it's going to come and it's going to drop right in there, and so that whole bottom half is going to be soaked. And if there is enough rain that comes in, he's going to have inches of water. So when you're looking at a tent, you want a tent that's going to go up and down, and then you want that dome to be part of your canopy, not part of your base. So whenever you're looking at tents to be able to decide, like, okay, can this survive the rain, these are some factors that you need to really take into account even when you're looking at the different models. Now, I know this may be simple to you and to everybody else, but just in case people don't know. Okay, I want to show you my tent now. Okay, so you see how, okay, the structure is up and down, and then it has the water runoff. And if you look over here, I also have it here in the back. Now, if you also look, I am on a little bit of a slope, okay, so that some of the water can drain off. I also may be in a little bit of a gully too. Not exactly sure. I'll find out after the rain on Saturday and Sunday. But if you look here, I have a little bit of room between the ground and the top of the tent, so I get the airflow that I need. Okay, and then as you see, now that bottom area is a lot thicker. Okay, and if it gets really rainy, it will all drain off. But because, as you see, it's tight there and it's tight there, which creates a tight crease, that actually allows it to actually run off, and it'll hit the ground, and very little of it will hit down there. Now, because of the tent being used as much as it has, and sometimes I either, just because I'm on a slope, I'll go all the way to the foot or all the way to the head, because there's a little bit of a slope that I don't realize. And so the ends, just what I'll do is I'll put something to kind of round that out a little bit, and that is how I do my preparations for the rain with this tent. And also back here, as you see, now there's not as much of a runoff here as there is in the front, but that's because I need to put my gears there. But I also decided to open up my window because right now I want to make sure that I have airflow. It's going to be in the 60s at night over the next few days, and so I mean that's going to be really warm for me, considering I just got used to like 20-degree temperatures. And what will end up happening is, over this I will be putting the blue tarp that I showed you guys, the blue poncho, and that will be going over the bike, and my gear will be going in the tent, either towards the foot or towards the head. Just depends upon which way I slide. If I slide towards the foot, which is what I have been doing the last couple of nights, then I'll probably put put 2 bags up front and 1 bag out in the the little porch that it gives me here. And this will all stay dry. And so when I wake up in the morning, like, there'll be an outline of where the tent was, or the tent is. And I generally don't get any water in my tent because of the way that this sheds the water. And that's what makes this so important. And also, I bought some steel pegs from Walmart at like 78 cents a piece. I would strongly recommend that your aluminum ones, that you replace them with those, because it'll be a lot more durable. Yeah, you're going to carry a tiny bit more weight, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. But if you want to improve your tent, the steel pegs, they're 78 cents. So I would recommend those over the aluminum ones. But anyways,